my biggest thing too is just like I find it in the moments like having them still here and like having to grieve it. It's like the small moments of like I've had so many car issues, like, and it's like you want to call your dad, like, and it's like the little. I don't think I can finish this.
It's all right. No, it's tough. I know.
You never know what someone's going through in their day to day.
Made me reevaluate myself.
He was sick. That's all.
Block this out. You lose yourself, but then you become the person you didn't want to become.
But seriously though, it is completely in your hands.
Remember to
I can't hear myself.
You gotta talk.
You gotta talk into the microphone.
Hello. Oh.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Don't worry, guys. It works.
We're off to a rough start.
It's such an amateur. All right.
I don't wear ears.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Loft. It's episode 61. Today I have Madison, Paige, and Megan Cohen joining us as well.
You wave to your
Meg,
camera.
wave to your
camera.
There's 3 cameras.
Meg's acting like this is our first
Guys,
time
there's
here.
3 cameras.
Meg's
and
acting
usually
like this
I'm over
wasn't her
there.
third time on the pod.
Also, I'm screaming again.
Guys, if you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000.
We're 1 away from 900.
We're 1 away from 900. So any like, share,
I'm
comment,
gonna get the 900.
it all matters.
So some upcoming things. We're here with myself, Paige, Kev, and Meg, all parts of the Grace Project. We have a few things that are coming up with the Grace Project. By the time this episode releases, you guys will have seen it on our social media. If you don't follow Grace Project social media, add us on Facebook because that is where you will find everything up to date in regards to the Grace Project. We will have announced our... Yeah.
Go, you're going so good. Go.
I know I am.
No,
but-
keep going. Pick up from the last sentence.
So, we will have announced our kickoff for the Hope for the Holidays program, which is where we sponsor children for the holiday season. And we will also have announced our kickoff event that will be taking place November 11th. Make sure that you go on, register, and secure your spot. Also, which is super cool, it will be in the announcement, but we will have the option for people to join hybridly. So if you're in a different state, you can still join the event, and all of the supplies will just be sent to your house. Join a Zoom link with us and get to paint. Meg?
Is hybridly a word?
Hybrid.
Hybridly.
Hybridly.
Good job with the hand.
I'm going to link in description. There's going to be a link in the description to register for the event.
Yeah, Mady!
You know what?
My little
Fucking
When I'm
cat.
silent the rest of this
Let's
episode, you guys
go.
know why.
You will not be silent.
Let's go. That was good.
That was
Thanks.
really good.
You got everything out in 30 seconds.
And now I'm going to look up if hybridly is a word.
Okay.
Right now.
And we're going to Google if hybridly is a word. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Loft. Mady already said what needed to be said. Welcome
did.
back.
You know.
I'm excited. We got the Grace Project team here. Mady, Paige, myself, Meg.
I really
Our
like your
founder.
phone case.
It's our first
Is that
time.
new?
This is Meg's third appearance. This is Maddie's third appearance. This Paige's, I don't even know. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
Wait, before we get into anything that's like of importance, does anyone have service that can look up if hybridly is a word? Because
Sure.
I've had enough of you, dude. Like, I'm quitting.
It's about to
you
be
literally
one
don't
before-
have that option, Maddie.
I do.
You don't.
Maddie
You know
signed
what?
the contract.
You
You're
signed
stuck.
I signed
Contract.
no contract.
You
You're stuck.
did.
You don't
You
remember
did.
that?
You
don't remember?
did.
Nope.
All right. Well,
Well, you signed it.
well, it's there. But yeah, now we're back. I'm excited for what's to come. We have a lot coming up the Grace Project soon. Stay tuned for some announcements. We'll be having some announcements coming out. And yeah,
Follow us on Facebook.
follow us on Facebook. Follow us on. We're about to start a TikTok. We got to get that. Actually, just get that going. Just do it. Start from scratch, right?
Make a new one. Yeah.
Make a new one.
I can't log into
It
mine.
honestly might not be a word.
Nah, but
It's okay.
But if anyone does want to volunteer, go to Kensington with us. You can go in the link in the description. We'll have the volunteer forms. We'll have the website all
What
linked
will
in
we
there.
have?
Link in the description.
The volunteer form?
The link to the,
The volunteer form.
Volunteer
the volunteer
form?
form.
Anyone who watched the last one would know about the volunteer form.
Oh yeah, 100%. I said
Volunteer
that's what I
form.
said. Volunteer form.
Volunteer
Yeah,
form.
volunteer
Just
form.
volunteer. Make sure you.
make sure you fill out the form. legally we can't have you out there unless you fill out the form. So fill out the form, please. If you fill out the form, that'd be great.
Just fill out the volunteer.
Guys, I feel a lot more
There
chill
is
now.
a form on the website.
There's a form that for volunteers that you fill out on the website. All right.
So over the weekend, we got to do a bunch of things Grace Project related. On Saturday, we were at Recovery Advocates of America's annual walk fundraiser. That was super cool. We got to, hear different stories with a recovery speaker, the board speakers, and just a bunch of different organizations who came out to Jersey and, set up tables for the event. They had a great turnout. They raised over $50,000. Their top donating team was Team Liana, I believe was her name.
I believe it was
and
something
it was
like that,
something
yeah.
with, I want to say one of the colleges nearby. They raised about $5,000. They announced that team alone. And they had, I know, over like 10 teams sign up. So they had a great turnout. I know that that's something that we want to look forward to starting with the Grace Project, having our own walk one day. So, stay tuned with Grace Project information for when that could start.
What do we have on Sunday?
And then Sunday, we did the King's Crusade annual dodgeball tournament.
Recovery Wars.
Recovery Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
Recovery Wars. That was also super cool, again, in Jersey. They had a bunch of fun baskets. Meg won a lottery ticket one. I won a Top
And
Golf
a
one.
Yeti. Don't
Oh, yeah,
forget,
you
I
won
won
a
a
Yeti.
Yeti, and now
And
I'm like a whole
R.I.P. the
person.
fish tank.
And I took
And a Top Golf
I
basket,
took some
right?
of her metal straws from the Yeti container. I was happy about that. We also got stuck in an hour worth of traffic on the way.
We did.
But
That's
it
Can
was
we
all
just
in all
talk about,
great
though, for
day.
a second, those organizations? Because I am absolutely
Yeah,
obsessed with
amazing.
them.
Sue is a
She's
specimen
stunning.
of a
So is-
human.
She's fun.
Absolutely beautiful.
She's
Stacy as well. They're both just... So they're like really
Stacey
good
Ross,
friends, and they're two of my
amazing
close
person.
friends. And I literally, I can go to them for anything. They're very supportive of anything that the Grace Project does. And like, they're two people who, like, it's not just about like the image for them. Like they care so much. Sue will go
Yeah.
above and beyond for anyone. She's like one of the most compassionate humans I've ever met. Stacy is just like, she just cares so much. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the situation is. If somebody's struggling, like Stacy is there, and they're both hilarious.
They are so
Yeah.
fun.
They're like the
I love
coolest.
Stacey.
I
so
love
fun.
them.
Yeah, you could tell right away, like when someone really cares about it, because you just
Yeah.
feel it. Like I felt it. I wasn't able to go Sunday, but I was there Saturday, and you could just tell. Like I actually like almost got emotional when like I saw so many people speak about it because it really affected them. You know what I mean? So it was really nice. And I know Jerry from Barstool spoke there, right?
On
did.
Sunday.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, he spoke
And
about.
he showed a video of his recovery, and
That's
it was
so
really
cool.
cool because like. So when we were on the podcast, obviously Paige told me like prior to going on that he was in recovery. So like I knew that, but I didn't know his
got his
story.
story.
Yeah, that was like one of the
So-
first things you said was how much
Yeah.
you respect
Yeah.
him even more after
It was
watching the.
different because it's one thing like when you talk to somebody and it's like, oh, I'm in recovery, but like when somebody opens up like their darkest parts to like
Yeah.
anybody, it's just I don't know. I have a lot
Yeah.
of respect because it's not easy. Like when I talk about some of the stuff from my past, like it's not necessarily easy when you're talking to people that you don't know if they understand it. And like I was literally, I'm like every 2 seconds, Mady, I'm like, I'm gonna cry. I can't
Yeah.
do it. So I went up to him right away and I was just like, I like really respect
He
you.
spoke really like well too.
Yeah, 100%. And there's something about people just opening up to you that like it's just a whole different level of like vulnerability where like you just have to like respect it. You know, where did we split?
His,
Wait, what you said? No, go. What you saying?
his video did like a great job, and
Amazing.
I almost feel like
Can I watch it anywhere?
It
Is it on
was-
the internet anywhere?
he
It's
posted it on
on-
YouTube. I think.
Is it on
right?
YouTube?
It's on all of his like platforms, and I thought the coolest part about that too is when he played the video, like watching everybody walk up and sit down and like get emotional about
Yeah.
it was really
Yeah.
cool.
It was that
He's, like,
emotional.
Really?
yeah, it was
good.
really emotional.
Really?
I texted my mom like during it. I know I spoke with you about this Saturday, like kind of like to the side, but like at one point he's like, like it allowed me to be a dad, and like when that part hit, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, like I think for the most part, like you guys know, like I'm very like
Yeah.
put together and like don't get like upset about that stuff. But like in the back of my head, like as I'm getting more involved with things, like it's like damn, like I wish that it was as big as things are now 10 years ago, just because like especially like hearing like stories of like them like Jerry when he was like, I got to be a dad, and I'm like damn, like I wish like things could have been different. So like that part hit me, and I was just
It was
like,
a lot different. Like
okay
for your dad 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like there was so
Everyone's
much
still-
stigma attached to it and like people feeling like they had to hide it. And like the way
Yeah.
that you talk about your dad, like it seems just from like being somebody that's been through the same struggles, like it seems like you guys were so close and your dad obviously loved you more than anything, and I know how much you loved him. I'm gonna cry. I'm literally I'm gonna cry.
Cry.
But I think like if there it's hard, especially like when you are a family man, because it's really hard to maintain like that responsibility and that role with an active addiction. I couldn't even be like a daughter or a sister, like let alone a parent, you know. I can't imagine. So for him to like do that, like it just shows, you know, how important it was to him. So it is sad because like he probably had a lot of shame attached to it.
And I think that's what like, and like I've talked to you like obviously off camera about this, like about how I feel like my family kind of, not like just like in general, you know, like how you said, like there was so much stigma. Obviously there's still a lot, but like there's organizations like Grace Project and like recovery advocates who like are bringing more awareness to it and like talking about it more and, you know, making the stories be more heard. But like at that point in time, there really wasn't. And I think that like for him, like as much as he was a great dad, like he was actively involved, like yes, there was, you know, the addiction part, but I think that he just couldn't escape it, and there wasn't like the resources that there are today, because had it been like it is today, I think that maybe things could have been different.
Right.
And I think that's what like sucks sometimes, like even like the what was it? What are they called? Bubbles. The bubbles thing on Saturday. Like,
I got emotional watching that video.
That was like I was sitting there and I was
nice.
like, wow, like, you know, like it's like moments like that you just like, and I texted my mom that day too, and I like sent her the video, and I was like, it's things like this that like I just so wish like things would have been different.
And what's sad, like, because despite that, and literally like as of right, because I think that was the first time that I'm pretty sure you almost just like cried there for a sec. I don't know, but like that was the first time I've seen you get emotional. So now I know I can never see you cry because it'll break my heart and I'll lose it. But I think that like what's really cool is like you took that pain and you turned it into a passion. So like 100%. I'm not gonna say like, oh, you know, good thing that happened to you because it led you to where you are now. But you know what I mean? Like you were able to turn it into a positive. Like what you do, like the passion you have for the Grace Project, especially as somebody who's not in recovery, but just somebody who's like significantly like had it touch their lives. Like, and even like outside of just the addiction piece, because that's not all that we're about. Like you're all about the kids. You're just a good person. And I feel like from what you've been through, like it kind of forced you to grow up pretty quickly, and you have a heart of gold. So it's really cool. Like, cause it could have gone one of two ways, you know, like who you are today or the complete opposite. And I'm just really happy.
Yeah, and I thank God.
I'm really proud of you.
Thanks. I'm very proud of you too, and I've told you that a billion jillion times. I think God works in mysterious ways. For people who aren't religious, I think the universe works in mysterious ways.
For sure.
That I think the universe gave you a very big responsibility, and like you kind of mentioned, like how it's ironic because you mentioned how 10 years ago, you know, when your dad passed, like how, you know, there was never that resource, but like now you have a chance to be that resource.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's like what I wanted, and like I feel like we touched on this in the episode where I like obviously like the whole episode was like about my dad, in terms of like being like, yes, I, as much as it sucks and like I would do anything in the world to have my dad back, at the same point in time, like when everyone says like everything happens for a reason, I do believe that, because that did lead me to like what my passion is now. And like
100%.
I remember like even like saying that I switched my major, like because I know you know this, but like when I first went into school, it was bio pre-med.
Really?
Yeah, I hated every second of it. And then when I switched, everyone was like, "You're gonna make no money being a counselor," and I was like, "Okay, it's not about the money for me. Like, if I can," and like it's kind of what you just said, like if I can help one little kid not lose a parent, like that's all that matters to me. Like I could literally help one person, and that's it. Like that's great for me, because it's like I know how much it affected my family. Like I see my mom, like she's never dated again. Like she's been just her raising 3 kids on her own, like for 10 years. Like credit my mom a lot for that. Then like seeing how that affects my brothers, like in terms of them growing up, like it's a different dynamic between like girls and boys, and like 2 young boys, like they were 7 and 8, like growing up without a dad, like it's hard, you know. And like they make fun of me for like the episode. They're like, you think that we don't know as much as we do, and I'm like, no, like I don't know, like whatever. But
guys are affected
like,
a lot differently.
It's
well,
just,
you
like,
kind of
crazy
stepped
the
into like
dynamic.
that role of like trying to protect them.
They
like,
joke all the time.
kind of like that mother role.
They literally call me mom.
Yeah.
Like, and then Chris texted me today, and I was on the phone with like the new volunteer that's from Virginia, and he's blowing up my phone, and I finally hang up, and he's like, "What? Why did you take so long to answer me?" I said, "I was on the phone." He said, "With who? Someone more important than me?" I think not. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, like it just changes the dynamic of things, and like, but like I know what we went through, and like I know that it was a struggle, and like yes, I 100% think that I'm doing pretty good, like for myself, and
You're doing more.
but
than
like, not everyone takes loss the way that I did to like move forward. Oh God. But yeah, so you know, I'm glad I went on the path that I did, but I know that that's not the case for everyone. So like, if I was able to like help someone avoid that and like help a parent, then that's you know end goal.
I think it's one of the most beautiful gifts in the world is being able to give people a chance at life. I think one of my favorite things I don't really talk about much about being in Kensington is like just going to what.
It's just like staring at the food order. No, but I feel like you've also grown very like protective of me.
I am.
Yeah.
You're like my little pumpkin. Like I'll kill someone.
I'm my pumpkin.
Just my
It's
little
so
That
pumpkin.
just made me sad. That was my dad's nickname for me.
Oh Jesus.
I'm gonna get emotional on
Guys.
this episode. That's why I said I was like, I need to
can
zone out.
Can we ask like, is there any update on that or no?
I've just been like really emotional about it. Like I had to go back to therapy and stuff, like literally like hardcore, because I've just like realized that I overbook myself to like not feel things, I think. Like, and I like dove into that with.
Well, that's something we can get into too, is like just making sure like you're just not over like burning yourself out, because it's just like,
like I'm so quick to preach it and everything, and then I'm the first one that's running around and I'm like, I haven't had 1 second to myself, and now I'm so overwhelmed. And
Are
like,
you learning how important that can be though?
yeah, like I literally I'm like I have my weekends back and
But
stuff
what
now
are
too,
you,
but
like-
I need to
What are you doing with that time?
going to therapy and stuff now.
Well,
like
not every day, because I think it's more than like, from my experience, because like I have a lot on my plate, and I know it's really easy to kind of let things get away from you, and like I'll get into this mode of, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and like I just focus on those things, and like next thing I know, 3 weeks down the line, I feel like I'm drowning, and I'm like, why? And it's because like I don't incorporate time to like focus on me. So I might sit down and watch TV for a couple hours, but that's not, it can be self-care, but like,
She doesn't own a TV apparently.
I don't.
what?
No, because like
you need
I,
a TV?
But like no, but the thing is like that like, and the other day I was like, that's not even like funny. I was like, I genuinely don't have one because I'm literally never home. Like I'm like, when am I gonna turn a TV on?
I think that especially like with, struggles that you've had in the past, like just like me being in recovery, like it's that and like mental health stuff, it's on the same plane. So like I have to do self-checks constantly. And it's not something where like, obviously I'm not 100% okay all the time. Like you guys know, I just recently went through a phase where like I wasn't focusing on me, and like I had a lot going on, and I was overwhelmed, and on top of like kind of running myself into the ground, like I wasn't making sure that like mentally I'm okay. Right. And like, so when I got to the point of realizing that I was sort of in this danger zone of not like thinking, oh, I'm going to relapse or pick up because of it, but I just don't feel okay, and like I'm depressed and whatever, I had to kind of double down on like the other stuff. So getting back with a sponsor and like going back through my steps, even though like I haven't picked up, but like going back to the basics, getting back into therapy, getting back to doing yoga,
I think
going
that's
to the
where
gym.
I'm at, is like getting back to the basics, like at this point right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like just realizing how much like I'm gonna get emotional, but like how like I broke down like so quickly the other day, and I was like, where did that even come from? And I was like, it's because I'm finally realizing like how much this is really taking a toll on me. And I think I'm coming to the realization of like they're not ready, it's not happening anytime soon. Like I lost them, like I lost that relationship, and like I don't see it ever coming back, and like I have to come to terms with that. And it's like, how do you grieve two people that are still alive? And like I'm gonna get emotional.
Well, it's
like
it's hard.
It's
but
hard.
And
like
we can talk, because I've done, not my parents, but I've had to do it multiple times, like because of different situations. Like it's tough because they are still there, and then like you hold on to this idea of like what you want somebody to be, or like what they used to be, or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, like you can't make them become that, and it doesn't mean that down the line like they can't change. You know, like my mom got to a point with me where she was like kind of starting to separate herself, you know, and like she told, when I was on drug court, like she told the judge that like it was at a point where she was kind of limiting like our conversations, like how deep they would go, because she was waiting for that phone call that she was going to bury me. So she was protecting herself. She still let me know that she loved me, but like she was protecting herself in the process.
And like that's what I do right now too, and like that's like it's so hard.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
but like
you
here I
honestly
am.
should
So
talk to
there's
her
there,
mom.
yeah,
Because-
there's hope, you know.
I know that,
But
I
protect
think
yourself
that,
in the
I think
now.
in the midst of all of this too is like there's been so much that like I've been struggling with, and like I've had conversations like with my friends and stuff too, and they're like you don't even think, like you laugh about it and like your dating scene and everything, but they're like you don't allow anybody in, like, and it's like you have to continue to talk that through at therapy, and like opening up to my therapist and stuff too, like, and like talking about my abandonment issues and everything too. It's just like I feel like I'm at a point right now that I'm noticing how much I'm dragging all of this like with every like
Security.
I think that's what's hard too, because like people always say too, like, and I hate to always bring this up, but like with my ex-boyfriend too, like we were good and stuff, and then I realized like I really liked who I was with him, and when I felt that safety is when I started to open up, and when stuff started to like unfold, and I was just like everything was like triggering me.
Right.
All my unhealed trauma was coming up, and it was like such like.
And then you shut down, and then you get scared to like allow yourself to get, because that's how
'Cause I'm like,
I'm very like as loving as I am towards people. Like it takes so much to get me to date somebody, because I'm like, I don't want to get vulnerable. I don't want to put myself in that. And it's not even, I don't do it intentionally. Like I'll try with everything in me to get vulnerable. And like, I, you know, the relationships I have been in, like I've gotten to that point, but to even get me to like agree to date somebody, it takes so much. And then it's just so scary, because when you finally get to like, okay, I feel safe, and then things don't work out, it like shuts you down again. And then the next time it's even harder, because it's like, but I finally, like I felt safe. I got to that point. I let my guard down. And then like now here we are. So then like it gets harder and it gets harder. And then like you add any trauma with the relationship into that, or like just trauma from the past. Like whenever you're that close to somebody, of course, like that's what you're dating. You're dating everything that they've been through. And you know, it's definitely, it's tough.
It's challenging,
unavoidable.
especially as you get older.
I think something I'm like truly like really realizing through everything that's been happening in my life is to like there's shit that I need to heal from. Like I think we all have stuff to heal from, but I think like me personally, I think there's stuff that I need to heal from, because I'm learning how quickly I shut off. And
you definitely do.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Maddie, what do you think? Does he have stuff that he needs to?
You know.
So there's no. I'm kidding.
Nah, but there is a lot.
There's a
Let's name
guys.
off the
How about
list.
we all just like buy a house? Maybe we're all just gonna die alone.
We're just gonna die
Are we all
alone.
just gonna die alone?
We
should
literally,
No.
okay, so like if you
We
watch our episode, there's a clip where I literally say, I think that we need to just accept that the three of us are just gonna die alone.
Can I
So,
join the party?
Yeah.
or-
So like we'll
We'll just
be-
all buy a house.
I'm
we'll
just
be
kidding, guys. I
sister
need
wives.
at least one baby.
we could play.
We'll be
we could
sister wives.
Can my baby come?
play
Yep.
play exploding
Okay.
kittens all the time.
Yeah.
Exploding kittens.
You should have brought it, dude.
I know.
Oh my god.
Can
If
we?
anyone hasn't played Exploding Kittens, play it.
Dude, I'm mad.
Do you know what I'll say this, like
so
to
mad.
having a sober Friday was so refreshing. Like I'm not even gonna
Oh,
lie.
yeah.
I
Like,
was so proud of you.
I was not
So was
missing
I.
out. Like I wasn't missing out. Like I just like
I was worried that like you were gonna be like, oh, I
Got
can
my
be,
nah,
you know,
like,
out
I felt
here.
like I had to be somewhere
You
else.
had so much fun. Like you were so
guys,
happy.
That
guys,
was
guys.
good.
The pizza's here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Do you want me to get it? You guys want to talk?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, I'll be back.
Thanks, Kev.
So yeah, Kev needs to work on.
Wait till he's gone, and then we can talk about like all of his issues.
Yeah.
I have such a headache. I don't know what's happening.
Take the ears off.
Oh,
The ears.
the ears.
The ears.
ears
They
or
gotta
your
go.
hat?
I think it's the ears. My
It was,
hat's
it was
pretty-
the. I hate the
I look
ears.
so funny.
To hear, because like she was talking about how hard it was, and like, you know, like me and you were like at the gala, for example, like when
Yeah.
she was getting really emotional, like me and you were right there with her, like, but like hearing her story, and then like Meg kind of got emotional.
Shout out
like,
to Mama.
yeah,
Yeah,
mom's
shout out to
Mom's
Mom.
the
best.
best.
But like I think that you would really benefit talking to her, because like yes, it's your parents, but like at the same time, like that was her daughter, and like it
Yeah.
took a lot for her to finally be like, wait, I can't control what Meg's doing. Like
And
as
I
much
think-
as I love her, I have to give it up right now until she comes to her own like realization, and like that's exactly what you need to do with your parents. So like maybe like pull mom aside tomorrow night if you're coming out, or like just text her individually and be like, hey, like, could you call me? Like, I think that you would really benefit from a conversation.
Yeah, like my thing is right now too is like it's just really hard when like I bring it up and I feel like nobody can really relate. And it's like it's so easy to be like, oh, like I had like an off day, like I'm feeling like pretty upset over it. Like I really just like kind of want to chill to myself, like whatever. Like people don't get like how heavy it is sometimes.
So
and
I know people that do get it that you can talk to. I know people that, you know, like their parents are also no longer here. Gave them up. Like so, you know, me being in the rooms, like you hear a lot of stuff. So there's definitely people out there who get it that can kind of give you some insight that are like okay today. You know what I mean? Like they're happy, they're healthy.
I think it's just like it's more so like me now coming to terms with like, okay, this is really affecting me. Like you need to open up more. Like
you have to acknowledge it. Like you have to do that self check of like this. I'm not okay. I need to like process this. So all of that's normal, but you know it's. What do you do now? Like, so now you acknowledge it, right? It's not just, it's more than that. Like, then there needs to be action behind that. And like going to therapy, that's definitely a start. Finding like something that kind of helps you, like whether there's like resentment in there, anger, whatever it is, until you learn to process those emotions, getting that out in a healthy way. That's like not going out and drinking or not smoking, like maybe going to the gym or art or something along those lines, like a healthy outlet, because I go through shit and I don't have to like pick up anything and put it in my, like I find ways to like be okay. In like a healthy manner. You know
what else you would benefit from?
What?
Going to Al-Anon or Nar-Anon. Because you work the steps.
I do Al-Anon.
I'll go with you.
I do Al-Anon, and I'm gonna start like
I'll go
with my in person again.
I've had to like do a meeting, but it was like online. But like I had to do it for school.
Yeah.
I had to like go attend a meeting.
It's really helpful.
But like
it's really helpful.
Hearing them like talk about it, like I feel like you would.
So I know it's a lot easier said, than done. But I think one of the scariest people in the world is someone who's at peace with everything that they've gone through. Like someone who made peace with what they're struggling with. Like someone who, let's say, like
what's scary about that?
Because you can't affect them. There's nothing you can say.
That's where I'm at. I feel like.
Do you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, but like I feel like,
but
I feel like I've had moments like that.
I know, but I'm saying, I know.
Like radical acceptance, like that's.
It's just like the acceptance phase of it, where like they can't use it against you.
I know everyone talked at one time, and it was really loud in my ear.
But it's just like it's one of those things that like maybe this is how I try to process things now. I always try to avoid a victim mentality, just because. The grand scheme of things, when you're at home, like who else? Like we're here talking right now, but there's gonna be a point where you go home. At the point, it's just gonna be you.
No, we're actually all moving in here. You didn't know?
Actually, did you know that?
We're moving into the closet. One of the two walk-in closets.
Yeah.
My thing is like I'm good with that. Like but I become. There's a fine line with me sometimes where I'm like way too of a hardo of it, and I'm like, am I not processing it? Like, and just like telling myself like this is fine, like I can get through this, like I've been through enough, like whatever. But then there's those moments where I'm like, I don't think I am getting through it.
That's
like I
fine
just,
enough.
it's almost like I said, it's like grieving two people that are alive. Like I mentioned earlier, like grieving my grandfather, like that took me a year. Like my grandparents, that took me a year, and like it hit me really hard, and I was like, damn, I really thought that like I had a grip on this. And like it's like things just come in waves, and like I feel like I'm in like a point in my life where it's like a transitional wave, like of like now I'm finding a boundary of like I can't have them in my life.
I feel like so I feel like you can relate, because like what I've noticed is sometimes you talk about your dad and like sometimes there's a little bit of detachment from it, but then other times there's like a lot of emotion. So what's like your experience with it? How long did it take you to kind of get through that grieving process? Like, does it hit you more sometimes? Like, am I right in kind of saying that? Like, where do you think you're kind of at with it now?
So like I feel like it definitely is in waves, and like it took a lot, and like there was a lot of like denial in the beginning, and then like for me writing helped a lot. Like I used to have a notebook where I would literally just go write to him every night. And then, life hits and you get older and you can't write every night. And then I started writing articles. Like, if you go on the Odyssey, I read it. It was beautiful. When, everything was going on with your dad, I had you read it. And then, like, even, so, I don't know if I ever, like, mentioned
Which,
this,
luckily, my dad is still here.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Thankfully.
Yes, thankfully he is still here.
I I was in 7th grade when my dad passed, and fast forward to so end of 7th grade, and then freshman year I had an assignment I forget what the assignment even was, but like basically it was like to write like this thing. I ended up writing about the week my dad died, and like I still have it as a book. Like I wrote like an actual book, like the day he died, the next day, like finding out about it, the funeral, the week after, like, and I remember my teacher being like, and at the time, this kid who went to our high school had died that week. She was like, I don't know what made me think that, like, dealing with the student's death and then reading this book that you just wrote about your dad, like, I don't know what made me do it. She's like, I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
But, like, now I still always have that, and, like, I feel like little things like that are really helpful. And then, like, I've told Kev this before, like, we have, like, when we had his funeral, we had, like, a slideshow video made. So, like, I have the DVD, like, disc of, like, all, like, his pictures. And, like, I don't know if Kev even realized this, but on Saturday, for example, like, when we first got to the walk, the very first song that the DJ played was The Climb. And, like, that's the song that's on the tape for me, pictures of me and my dad. And I, like, told him that, and, like, he was an asshole and made it the clip real, like, song.
I made the clip
like,
for the episode.
And then, like, we were at the event, and, like, that was the first song. And I was like, I don't even think he realized, because I, like, said something to him, and his reaction, I was like, he doesn't realize. But I was like, like, the DJ just wants me to cry. Like, it's like, little things that, like,
yeah.
Or, like, even still, like, and it's been 10 years, and there will be little things that will just, like, remind me of him. Like, I used to go to the skate zone. Like, that was the thing every Friday night, right? And my dad would pick me up.
Oh my God, I loved that.
My dad would pick me up every Friday, bring me to Nifty 50s. We would get our own milkshakes, and we would split the spicy fries. And then, like, we would go home. So, like, even still, like little things like that. Like, I'll only order, I said this in the last episode, like, I only order the milkshake that he got. Like, I won't, like, if I go to Nifty 50s, I get a banana fluff or another, because that was his order. And, like, I won't ever get anything else.
Well, I feel like they're, like, a
So
big
it's, like,
part of
little
it, too.
things.
Like, you were a kid.
I was 13.
Yeah, like, you
I
were
had
literally
just-
a kid. So when you're an
Just
adult,
turned
it's like,
13.
you know, I don't want to lose my parents anytime soon. I'm only 29, but, like, I feel like it's a little less traumatizing. Like, I would still be devastated, but
Yeah.
you were a baby
And then
and
so
had to step
I
into
grew
this
up-
role.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up very, very quick. Like, my brothers joke, like, hey, Mom. Like, but, like, that's just how it was. And then, like, I never wanted to, like, ask my mom for money, because, like, whatever.
Yeah, that's
so, like,
the
I
worst.
started working, like, early. And then,
My Crocs.
and then when my pop passed, it was, like, unexpected. Like, I didn't expect my pop to die. Like, it's my Gigi pop, so my great-grandpop. But he was still younger, and, like, it was just, like, out of nowhere. And, you know,
I like that. Gigi Pop.
It's Gigi
Gigi
and Gigi
Pop?
Pop.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to, like, grieving people that
But
are
I was able
like,
to get through that.
I think sometimes grieving someone that's still here is harder than grieving someone who's lost.
We literally talked about this the other day,
I think
remember?
it's
Like,
I
that
think
question of, like, which one would you rather, like, have them pass unexpectedly and you don't get to say goodbye, or, like, watch them slowly die and prepare for it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
it's, like, one of those things that you don't really know how you would feel, because it's different in every scenario. But, like, I think just, like,
I
being
think-
able to talk about it comes with time.
yeah, I mean,
Like, I used to not be able to. I used to just brush it off. Even with my ex, who I was with for 3.5 years, like, we were together for probably 2 years before I finally opened up about how my dad actually passed. Like, it was just something that I was never, like, and again, this goes with the stigma. Like, I never wanted people to think my dad was a bad person because of how he died.
Yeah.
anyone
you
who knew
know?
your dad knew he wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's all
And
that
I think,
matters.
like, you going to, like, my family's wedding, like, made you, like, realize, like, a lot of things. But, like, because, you know, you've known me for how long, and, like, how many times I ever really talked about my dad. Like,
Rarely.
you said you wanted me to come on the pod because meeting my family and, like, hearing stories, like, made you realize things. But, like, yeah, like, up until, like, now, obviously, I'm more vocal about it just because it kind of gives
You can help a lot
me
of
a
people
perspective.
with your
It
story.
helps you heal as you do it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
not even
Helps you, helps other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
it just
It
like,
does.
It makes me, like, especially, like, with the fact that I'm about to be a counselor, like, you have to self-disclose to, like, to an extent to have, like, rapport with your clients.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, my clients will ask me, what's your drug of choice? And I'm like, well, like, I actually feel okay, like, sharing this, but, like, I'm not in, like, recovery myself, but, like, it's present in my family. Like, I lost my dad to an overdose and stuff, and they're like, oh, so you know, like I literally the other day I did an intake, and she was like, oh, so like you know what we're going through, and I was like, yeah, like I experienced it. Like obviously I didn't experience the way you did, but like I was right there.
It still touched your life.
Yeah. So
I mean, and
there's that.
there's definitely like
I'm sweating now.
a difference, like because I've loved people that struggle with addiction and like watch them struggle. I've lost people to it,
Right.
And then I've gone through it myself, and you know, it's of course going through it. You're, like until you actually experience it, there's no way to describe it, but.
Yeah.
When you love somebody, like that's the next closest thing, you know, because especially like you know that they're a good person, so like you're able to see that like, you know, just because somebody's an addict, it doesn't mean
For sure.
that they're bad. Like they're just sick, they're struggling,
Yeah.
they don't want to do the things that they're doing, they don't want to be the way that they are, like,
Right.
and it's not making it excusable, but it's just saying like, hey, I understand it's not okay that you're doing this, this, and this, but I understand
It's
like
the
what's
why.
going
It's
on.
like the why.
Yeah.
It's like the why
then,
is
like,
happening. You know.
It always like gets me when people are like, oh, well, my kids. And I'm like, listen, I know firsthand if your kid was a good enough reason to be sober, my dad would still be here.
Yeah.
Like, end of the day,
not.
like, no one, yes, you want to do it for your kids. Like, no parent wants to actively be out of their children's life. No parent wants to, like, pass from it. Like, I don't, like, you
Right.
know, like, as a parent, I just know how my mom is with me. Like, I know ultimately my dad would have never wanted that, but, like, it's not reason enough. Like, you have to want it for yourself every single day, and like obviously you know that, but like it's an ongoing thing, and I think that like your parents obviously aren't at that point yet, and like it sucks. Like you're grown, you can have your, especially like with how in touch you are with the field, you like also
My
like,
biggest
cling to
thing-
other people.
yeah,
like,
but, like,
oh, I want this.
My biggest thing too is just like I find it in the moments like having them still here and like having to grieve it. It's like the small moments of like I've had so many car issues, like, and it's like you want to call your dad, like, and it's like the little. I don't think I can finish this.
It's all right. No, it's tough. I know.
Yeah, I can fix the.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Nah, it's tough. I mean, we would talk to her, but nah, it's. I feel bad.
It's tough just because like she's like grieving something on her own, and like
Should we maybe put this on pause and?
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, we'll come back real quick.
Yeah, we had a long few weeks. So we didn't know how this was gonna go, but I think we're just gonna wrap up. We're gonna eat and call it a night.
We brought Paige back.
I'm back.
Paige back.
Paige is back.
Paige is
She's
back.
good.
There you
I
She's,
got
Now
out
I
a
can
good
hear
little cry.
I
now I
think
can hear you.
I think sometimes we were kind of talking a little bit. I think doing this pod I think was good because we never really know what we're going through unless we talk about it to each other. You know.
And it's okay to lean on your friends. That's
cool.
what we're here for.
Love you guys.
Yeah, except for
you too.
cars because I don't know shit about cars, but.
None of
Literally
us do.
can't change my headlight.
None of us do. You know,
I can
we're all
I
doing
can
great.
fix it. I can do it.
All right.
Just
I
wish
can
could
fix
call
it.
my-
I can fix it.
I can fix that.
All right, but ladies and
I
gentlemen,
know that
hope you guys
changes
enjoy this
it.
episode. Very real episode of the Loft.
Whoa.
I'm Kev Nichols, Paige Pullman, Mady Thompson, Megan Cohen. Peace,
Love
guys.
yous.
See ya.